Scientists uncover link between low tides and earthquakes. We know they've uncovered links between the moon and waves, tides, not only water tides, ocean tides, but earth tides. And now they've uncovered a link between low tides and earthquakes. Low tides, of course, coming from having to do with the cycles of the moon. This is on Out of Minds. Scientists uncover a link between low tide and earthquakes. Many scientific investigations have been conducted to figure out if there's a connection between the tide and earthquakes. For decades, scientists have failed to understand exactly why there is an uptick in earthquake tremors during low tide. A new study published in the journal Nature Communications has figured out finally the links between the two. And in the study led by researchers from the Earth Institute of Columbia University, the scientists believe that they have uncovered the mechanisms that explain this phenomenon. Everyone was sort of stumped, explained Christopher Schultz, seismologist at Columbia Earth Observatory. He said because according to conventional theory, those earthquakes should occur at high tides. However, Schultz and his team found that the answer to the mystery comes down to the magma lurking beneath the mid-ocean ridges. Schultz explained that the magma chambers breathe, expand, and contract along with the tides. This is what made the faults move during low tide. He further explained that they found the correlation with low tide surprising because of the way mid-ocean faults move. Schultz described the mid-ocean faults as two pieces of the Earth. During movement, one block, the upper block, slides downward, causing friction and triggering an earthquake. Because of this, scientists believe that tremors should occur during high tide when there is more water sitting on top of the fault. Theoretically, this would have pushed one block down and caused earthquakes. However, the decades' worth of evidence have shown that that's not what happens, and instead, the lower block is pulled upward during low tide because of forces that are trying to push it up, and new evidence goes against the tide. Their evidence came after Schultz and his team, which included colleagues from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom and the axial volcano, studying the axial volcano off the west coast. It's a submarine volcano at the Juan de Fuca Ridge, a mid-ocean ridge located approximately 300 miles off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. It stretches from around Oregon to the Canadian province of British Columbia. They chose axial volcano because it's known to erupt approximately every 10 years. Schultz and his team set up a large network of instruments at the bottom of the ocean, and they used the data gathered by these instruments to figure out exactly how low tides could be causing the tremors. And with the help of the instruments, Schultz and his team inspected a component that other scientists had not considered before, the magma chambers, which are soft, pressurized pockets sitting underneath the ridge. And with the help of the instruments, Schultz and his team observed that when the tide was low, there would be less water sitting on top of the chamber, giving it a lot more freedom to expand. And as it puffed up, the magma chamber caused the rocks around it an incredible amount of strain, which forced the lower block on the fault to slide upwards, creating an earthquake in the process. Furthermore, Schultz and his team found that the tidal earthquakes produced in the region of the Juan de Fuca Ridge were so sensitive that even the tiniest stress on the fault could trigger an earthquake. They said that if the seismic waves from another earthquake reached the fault, or if fracking wastewater were to be pumped underneath the ground, an earthquake could happen. With this new research, Schultz and his team hope to give the world a better understanding of how pressure from hydrofracking can cause earthquakes. He said people in the hydrofracking business want to know, is there some safe pressure you can pump and make sure you can't produce any earthquakes? And Schultz said, and the answer that we find is that there isn't any. It can happen at any level of stress, end quote. This is by Nexus Feed, and it's on Out of Mind too, and I'll leave a link below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.